I'm Jule. A lot of you folks already know me. You've seen my face on YouTube a few times already anyway. So I'm going to tell you what we're about. We're about the Paycheck. It's a new amp. It comes out in a 15 watt and a 40 watt version. I invited a very good friend of mine, Ronny Watson, down to Paradise Recording in Santa Cruz. Will Kahn said, come on down. He's a wonderful guy. So we sat there in the studio and we just let him play. With the objective of letting the people who can't get to Santa Cruz have some idea what this amp will do. The new amp is called the Paycheck. Paycheck means an awful lot to a lot of people, particularly right now, and it's the first amp I've designed that is specifically for the people out there working to make a living. We're just on the clean channel right now.
First thing I noticed about the Paycheck was the fact that there were a lot of overtones and the need for reverb didn't exist. When you can have an amp that's that harmonically rich, that's huge. It's got a cool sound.
Yes.
A lot of overtones. That's the one thing I hear right off the bat.
The presence is not like the old presence controls we heard where it was so high end that it was hurtful. It's backed off somewhat, but it still will bring the guitar for the gigging performer up to the front of the stage more. That's what that's all about. And in the studio, it'll brighten things up. That's very nice. Very much made to live in both worlds, a studio and a live gigging environment. 15 watt version is more oriented to small gig, small venue. 40 watts obviously for the guy standing on the stage trying to keep up with the drummer. What's the Paycheck do? 3-phase EQ, we all know about that. Master volume, which is very cool. You get separate clean and second channel capability. Foot switch, or switch it from the front. And it's got another little secret thing named by Ronny Watson called the bedroom switch. The bedroom switch is a way for you to play at home in your own bedroom at very high gain levels and still keep a family or neighbors.
The one thing that Jule's amps are kind of known for, at least when I think of them, is they're very harmonically rich, they're very clean, they're very transparent. But I never saw it as being, an amp to mindlessly rock out on, and the bedroom switch kind of gave me that. Every guitar player kind of goes through that. You want to stand on top of that narrow mount with your hair flapping in the breeze and whatnot, and play the riff of eternity, and the cool part was that the amp had that. It was a very rock sound, and at the other end of that was that I was able to get a very full sound with just using a single coil pickup, and I dug that. It was a sound that was full like a humbucker, but at the same time had the single coil definition. And so I really dug that. The amp was real easy to move from blues to country to jazzier ideas, you know, and with that bedroom switch you could even cover the metal stuff. So yeah, that was pretty huge.
It's made portable, light handles on the side so you can drag it around. It's extremely sturdy. The other side of it is extremely versatile. With the 2 channels involved here, you can get just about any sound you want. You can play Metallica to Lee Ritenour, right? You know, you should be able to get it all out of it.
A lot of playing, performing musicians, they're not necessarily doing just one genre. You might be in a top 40 band one week, you might be in a rock band the next, you might be, you know, country band maybe. You know, I've got a polka gig that's coming up. So to be able to cover that kind of territory and use the same piece of gear is huge.
Paycheck, like all the amps I've made, is still a point-to-point hand-wired amp. What that means to you is, yeah, it sounds great, but the reality is it can be modified forever. It can be kept running forever. That's bucks. That goes back to the Paycheck idea.
In terms of being able to customize an amp or make tweaks for users, I mean, Jule is huge on that sort of thing.
What I like to do is work with the player, and if they've got a particular voice that they want to have, it's quite easy to put it directly in there.
If you play a lot of different styles, then to have something that's transparent to your sound and lets that come through is also a huge thing.
During our fun session there at Paradise Recording, I learned an awful lot about the amp. I thought I knew everything. You know, you sit down on the board and your bench and you try to build it all in there. But the reality is, when you get somebody like Ronny Watson in the studio playing this thing, I learned a ton. There were some old, thick PV tones that I didn't know the amp would do, in all honesty. He brought those out. He was playing with a gorgeous G&L mahogany guitar, that just some soft stuff that I really appreciate. I like, you know, I mean, we're doing this because we like to hear it. We hit the foot switch?
Yeah.
First part of the sales are going to be done through Jule Amps. By that I mean contact me, send us an email, give us a call, and we'll get the amp in your hands. We realize that you don't really know what it's like until you've played it a while, so for the first 30 days, just send it on back. If it's beat up, then we want to know about that, but we'll work that one out. But the reality is, you got 30 days to check it out, and if you don't like it, no questions asked officially, but we'd sure like to know why you don't like it, because then we're going to go in there, going to see if we can improve it for the next guy around. So contact us directly for now.